Hello and welcome to video 282. First off, apologies if there is any wind noise. It is a bit of a blustery day, so apologies, if there's any wind noise at the moment. Right, we are back out on the bank, guys, and what you see behind me is Linear Fisheries Tar Farm Lake 4. We've got 3 nights ahead of us, guys. It's quite a chunk of water that out in front of me, guys. I believe Tar Farm, from what I've read on the catch app, is the biggest lake on the Tar Farm complex. But it's also the one with the fewest swims. There's only 7 swims on this lake, and they're all down just one side, so in a nice neat little row. And because of that reason, it's the only lake that Linear have allowed the use of bait boats on, because you're all fishing from just one side. I mean, it's quite a chuck to the other side, certainly a lot further than what I can cast. So I do have my bait boat with me, which I will be using this session, certainly on 2 rods anyway, because I'm probably going to have a go on zigs on 1 rod, because I've fished Lake 7, I've fished Lake 8, this is my first time on Lake 4. So yeah, I know nothing about it apart from the lake depth. It's very, very deep out in front of me, but halfway out it's about 35 foot deep. So we will definitely be going to that far reed line margin, where even there, sort of a rod length off the far bank, it's still like 15 foot over there. If you go onto the catch app, you can see the lake map when you do your booking, and it's got all the depths on there. So when I booked this session, I would have preferred one of the end pegs, either peg 1 or 7, but they're booked out from tomorrow onwards, so they was unavailable for the 3 days that I wanted to be on. So I thought, well, if I can't get on the ends, where's best to be? Dead in the middle of the lake, which is this one, peg 4. So it's past 1 now. My session actually started at midday. We're not fishing yet, I'm still in the middle of setting up, guys. But looks like I'm going to be the only one on the lake tonight, but tomorrow I have got my mate Wayne joining me. He's going to be in peg 5. He's going to be doing 48 hours, guys. But yeah, anyway, enough waffle, I need to crack on, guys, because in about hour and a half, about 3 o'clock, we are due some really heavy rain, and that heavy rain is due to stay in for the rest of today, tonight, and into the early hours of the morning. So I need to crack on, try and get the rods out before I get soaking wet. So yeah, so I'm going to be getting my bait boat out soon. So it's going to be quite a journey to that far side. I've got no idea how far it is. I mean, for the book peg 3, I think peg 3 has about 250 yards of water, something like that. It's absolutely mental. Anyway, I'm going to crack on before I get caught in the rain. Let's go fishing. Right, guys, so we are ready to put out the first rod. So you haven't seen me doing any marker work, guys, because basically where I want to fish is beyond my casting ability. Like I say, I've already looked at the lake map. I know the middle of the lake is like 30-35 foot deep, and so I already know the depth. I just don't know how the bottom is. So we're basically going to take pot luck, guys, and hopefully the rigs and everything lands on a clear spot. Now, because I've looked at the lake map and I know it's deep out there, I'm hoping, because it is deep, you know, the photosynthesis wouldn't have allowed any weed to grow where I'm going to drop the rig, so it's basically just pot luck and hope for the best. I could, if I suppose I wanted to, take the marker lead out on the boat to find spots. Doing that way would just be more effort than it's worth. Anyway, so yeah, so we're gonna have a bit of potluck fishing, guys, and hope for the best, and then maybe see what we drag in when we do bring these rods in at whatever point. Anyway, half hour to the rain's due, so I'm racing the weather now. So anyway, in this boat we have got a combi rig, you know, with the Gemini booms, quarter loop, and a Nuts 365 wafter. And then in that boat, I've already put it, is a handful of nuts boilies. Got 2 buckets down here, one with a mixture of nuts boilies, one with a mixture of seafood boilies. I say mixture as in sizes. And on when the other rod goes out, that's going to be a seafood pop-up on a Ronnie rig. And then the third rod, I'm going to cast that one probably mid-water, have a play with some of that deep water out in the middle with an adjustable zig rig. Right, I'm not going to film the boat going out because obviously it's a long way to that far bank, guys, and that would be some boring footage watching a boat go out that far. I mean, yeah, it's probably about 120, 130 yards at a guess. I've got no idea, but it's certainly beyond my casting ability. So anyway, that's enough waffle. I'm going to get the boat out, try and get the other one out, and then hopefully beat the weather so I don't get soaking wet. Right guys, I think I'm going to be timing this about right. I'm just starting to feel the rain coming now. It's 3:05, so might be just getting this timing just right, I think. So yeah, as I said earlier on, I'm going to fish the third rod on an adjustable zig rig, the same system that I was using at Bluebell Lakes on Swan Lake, you know, a couple of videos ago. So I've just tied this one up. So we've got a size 8 wide gape micro barbed hook there, all black on the zig liner and zig foam, 3 foot of hook length. I mean, it's obviously this doubled over at the moment because the hook is hooked into the PVA foam nugget that's in the top of the float. And because I know there's like 30 foot of water out there, what I'm going to do is just try mid-water, so sort of 15 foot. It seems to take forever to hit bottom. I'd say. And the way I like to do these, what I worked out in when I was using these last, is rather than working from the top and going down, I like to wind it to the bottom. Well, it is wound to the bottom now, I can feel it, and then let off a foot at a time until I've got the desired depth that I want. Right guys, so that's it, one rod fishing a zig, adjustable zig. So you might have heard then, or I've probably edited it out to keep the blog shorter, but obviously because of the 3 foot hook link coming off the adjustable float, I let out 12 foot of line, giving me the 15 foot sort of depth from the bottom that I want. Right, that's it, 3 rods fishing on Tar Farm Fort. Now I just need to have a bit of a tidy up, guys, and then I can chill and put my feet up, and if this rain does come in, I'm all sorted. And guys, 6:30, bit later than forecast, but that heavy rain is finally just coming. We had sort of patches of light rain with the odd sporadic heavy shower, but the rain that was forecast to be heavy from 3 o'clock has only just arrived. So, oh, there we go, getting it on the camera lens as well. So, according to the weather app on my phone, this is due to be in now until about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. So, not a lot else has happened. The Zig is now sitting at 18 foot off the deck, so it's since it first went out, it's come up another 3 foot, a foot at a time at various times between when it went out and now, obviously. So it's almost fishing in the kind of the upper third of the water depth. Well, all quiet on the western front so far. Right, let's put this camera away, clean the lens, and then hopefully be back with you when there's fishing's a bit more active. Good morning everybody, and I would say that was a quiet night, and on the fishing side of it, it was, but yeah, that's why I didn't get a sort of a last like bedtime update or anything last night, because once them heavens opened last night, boy did it ever rain last night. Yeah, it might have been late in coming and forecast, but yeah, once it did get here, Jesus Christ, didn't it half ever rain. That's why I didn't get the camera out, and so much so it rained. I actually had to shut the bivvy door down last night, which I don't normally do, and except in exceptional circumstances. And last night was one of them. It absolutely bucketed down last night. But anyway, as you see from looking at the lake, it's a lot quieter and calmer morning this morning. Yesterday we had a bit of a wind blowing in from us. There is a very gentle breeze blowing this morning, but hardly anything. And as I look to kind of this side of the lake, it's almost like a sort of a mill pond. There's just a very gentle ripple on the lake this morning. But anyway, we had also, when I got up this morning, sort of about 45 minutes ago, it's nearly 8 o'clock now, I was getting some single bleeps on my left hand rod, which has obviously woke me up. Not continuous, it was just doing like a single bleep, sort of maybe a pause for about 30 seconds to a minute, a single bleep again, another little 30 second to a minute pause, a single bleep. So I got out to investigate, and I could see not the bobbin or anything moving, but I could just see the line moving a little bit. So I thought, well, I'll pick the rod up to investigate. When I picked the rod up, the line, even though I've backleaded, the line was kind of going out to my left a little bit. Bearing in mind I'm kind of fishing on the left hand rod at an almost 12 o'clock direction, a sort of a almost I say an 11:30 direction. The left and middle rods are about a rod length apart from where they're fishing, and so they're almost going out parallel. Anyway, yeah, so the line was going out left a little bit, and I thought, hey, what's going on here? But whether a fish had picked it up with a dorsal or a bit of weed had snagged the line or anything, because as soon as I wound in that bit of bow, we were straight back onto the rig. And anyway, once I got the rig in, there was no lead on the rig anymore. So whether I've been picked up and done, I don't know. You know, bearing in mind we dropped the rigs with a bait boat, so the lead wouldn't have fallen off, you know, that way. So yeah, and also there must be crays in this lake, because the underside of the wafter was nibbled a little bit. All the underside of the wafter was gone, so instead of it being like a 10 by 12 mil wafter, it's probably a 10 by 10 this morning. So I think when we redo the rods properly later on, I'll get that multi-rig off and stick another Ronnie rig on that left hand rod as well. No weed coming on the rig whatsoever. I know the lead was gone, but if there is weed, you'll get it on your hook and whatnot. Nothing. So I think it's safe to say where I've dropped my rigs, it is weed free, as I thought it probably would be. But yeah, anyway, so all I did after I wound that rod in, I just obviously put another lead on it, and I just cast it back out for now. So effectively for the moment that rod is fishing as a single. So because there's a lot of water out there, I basically just chucked it as far as I could, and I'd probably say I maybe got it, I don't know, anywhere in the region of 20 to 25 wraps, I guess. Certainly didn't hit the far bank, that's for sure, sir. But yeah, we'll leave the rods fishing for a few more hours yet before I touch them. Obviously the right hand rod's not so much of a issue where it fishes, because it's obviously the adjustable zig. That is still fishing at 18 foot off the deck at the moment, so I might give that another adjustment after I've finished talking to you guys. But yeah, it's definitely looking a lot nicer, brighter day. Like I say, Wayne should be here in a few hours time as well. So yeah, I'm the only one on the lake, so according to the cat chat, there's 3 more people booked on today, with Wayne being one of them. See, Wayne's in peg 5, and then the other 2 are in the pegs 1 and 7 that I mentioned yesterday when I made my booking. Right, that's enough waffle for a morning update. I'm going to enjoy me Bailey's hot chocolate. I'll catch up with you when there's some sort of carpy action and not waffly action going on. Right, and guys, so Wayne is now here. What are we? We're 11:15. Wayne's not long just turned up, and he's currently setting up in the next door peg 5. You'll notice I've only got 1 rod out at the moment, guys. That's because I've just wound my rods in and I've just been to the on-site linear shop. One thing I realised yesterday with boating me rigs up to the far margin, I realised I've only got my shallow spools on my reels, and in the subsequent session since I re-spooled my reels with new line, especially 2 sessions ago at Bluebell Lakes, where I lost a lot of line where someone took me out, I realised once my rigs was over there, I hardly had any line left on my spools. So I thought, well, Yesterday I made do by having the clutches on the reels quite tight so not much line could come off. So yeah, anyway, so the plan for the next hour or so is the two rods that I'm putting over to that far bank, or close to the far bank, I'm going to re-spool with some fresh line, which is why I've just been to the shop to go and buy some more line. I would have liked to have re-spooled with the Gardner GT HD again. They only had it in £12 or £18. £12 I don't like fishing with. It's the breaking strain's just not strong enough for my liking. Yeah, it's alright for like for venues like I was on last week, 2 weeks ago at Tobber Manor, where you're catching pasties. Here where there's 30s and that, you know, I prefer a stronger line, sort of around 15-16 pound breaking strain. 18 pound, yes, is nice and strong what they add, but then the line diameter also goes up a notch, meaning you're not going to get much line on your reels. So the only line that they add in the shop, which is the breaking strain I like, and the diameter, that would have been enough to get enough line on my shallow spools. It's a Fox Exocet in £16. It's got a 0.33 diameter, so it means I'm going to be able to get plenty of line on my reels and have line to spare once we're back over there again. So anyway, so I'm going to crack on and do that. Like I say, when I got back from the shop, obviously because that rod's the Zig rod, that was easy just to chuck back out there because we're only fishing kind of halfway out. I don't have to worry about lack of line on that reel, and when I put it out I've set it at 10 foot up from the bottom. So, and then yeah, during the course of the session we'll bring it up in stages again. Right, so I'm going to crack on. Obviously I need to de-spool the other two reels first, and then yeah, so I'm going to crack on. So once the rods go back out, I know I've got plenty of line back on my reels again. Right guys, I'm nearly ready to get the rods back out. As you see, Wayne is here.
Good morning.
From Wayne's Fishing Adventures channel, if you haven't seen it. There's a little linklet above Wayne's head, look, there you go. So yeah, so we're almost all ready to go. So reels are now lovely spooled up with 250 meters of that Fox Exocet line. Good thing about the Fox line is that they have little stickers every 250 meters on the spool, so you know how much you're putting on. So yep, reels are now spooled up with 250 meters. If anything, at the moment they probably look a little overfilled because they're the shallow spools. 200 meters would probably be probably be ideal, but once 120, 130 yards of line is out over to the other side, I know I've got plenty of line to play with then. So I've also changed one of the rigs that you saw yesterday. I done one on the combi rig and one on the Ronnie rig. Well, they're both going back out on Ronnie rigs now because as I said on my morning update, the bait's got nibbled, the wafter that was on the deck. So just if there are crays out there, just to keep the bait away from their little claws, or help keep it away, because I know they can still do that, but it all helps a little. And we've also upped the bait size from a 12mm to a 15mm. both on the nuts pop-ups. Gone with a 15mm, again in case anything does nibble the baits. There's a little bit more meat on the bones for them to have a go at, and still be enough bait left on the rig if it does happen. So are you fishing yet, mate?
Not yet, no, I've been having a bit of a mare today.
Well, what's happened?
So, my third marker float I snapped off.
Oh no.
On the trot.
Not third today?
Not third today, no.
The third one you've owned?
Yeah, but me and marker floats don't get on. So, but no, I just found some depths with my bait boat in the deeper. So, yeah.
And what was you just telling me off camera you did with your bait boat in deeper?
Yeah, so so I've got an arm what comes off the deeper, as you've probably seen them on the bait boats, holds the deeper on, and on my active deeper boat it's got the two gates, the one on drops the bottom, one on the back, and it's attached to the one on the back. So instead of pressing the bottom one to drop my lead on the spot I wanted, I pressed the back one, which opened the door, swung the deep around, and when I went to get the boat back in, it just going in circles. It just didn't want to play, so I've been having to do like 3-point turns, about 20 minutes to get it back in.
So basically what you've done, you used your deeper as like a big rudder on your bait boat, and it went around in circles.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah. It can only get better.
Yeah. So as I said, guys, the rigs are all baited up and ready to go out. So I am ready to get the rods back out, which will be the next thing you see. Right guys, so as you see, just getting the rods ready to go back out for today's fishing. Once they're out, they will stay out. I don't see the need to redo them again or anything, you know, because I'm happy with how buoyant and attractive the baits stay, etc. Right, so because we're using nuts boilies on both rods today, I've put the seafood boilies away, and I've got some nuts pellets with me, again a mix of sizes. So what we'll do today is not go so heavy on the boilies, maybe put in half a handful, but we'll do a handful of pellets for a bit more attraction on that side of it, and then we'll see how we get on with that. Again, because of the distances involved putting these out, I'm not going to film the boat going out all the way to its destination, because that would be a very long and boring bit of footage to watch. Right guys, so yeah, so 120, 130 yards to the other side. At least the boat's going a little bit smoother today with because they ain't got that wind today. It's hasn't got no waves to contend with today. Right, that's it guys, all three rods are now out and fishing, and as I said when I was putting that rod out, unless any fish come along, they will stay fishing now for the rest of today, tonight, until tomorrow, when I think's the right time to redo the rods again. So those two rods now that are fishing long, the reels actually look like they've got line on them now, where yesterday one of the rods I could actually see just about through the coils of line. I could just about see the spool. So I thought, well, that's not ideal if I get a run in the night in it. And it runs, well, that way. It can't run too much more. away from me because I'm fishing only about a rod length from the reeds on the far bank. But yeah, so the spools look healthy again now. So anyway, fishing at that kind of range, we have the Delkims set a little bit more sensitive than I normally have them, obviously with much more line being out, the sensitivity on your alarms drops the more line you have out. So to counteract that, turn the sensitivity up on your alarms, and also have my bobbin set a little bit higher as well, because again, because we're only a rod length from the far bank, there's more likely for the fish to come this way rather than go that way. Therefore I'd want a more pronounced drop back bite rather than a run bite, if that makes sense. So we'll go and have a quick check in with Wayne, see what he's up to. Are these two rods already fishing, are they, Wayne?
They are, yeah. Yeah, they're all ready to rock and roll.
And you haven't gone as far out as me, have you?
No, I'm probably 3 rod lengths off the bottom of this marginal shelf.
So, and what distance, as in?
About 8 wraps, about 3 foot. Yeah, about 8 1/4 wraps.
Yeah. Except, but you've used the map, haven't you, to find a little
yeah.
shallower area. Or you say shallow area, how shallow is it?
It's still about 16, 17 foot deep.
Yeah.
As opposed to like over mid-20s either side of me.
Yeah, so that sounds mental, don't it, saying 16 foot is a shallow spot, but but you know, a lot of lakes, the deep sections aren't even that deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got quite some depth to it, this lake, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And you say when you put your third rod out, you are going to go to the far bank.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get it over by them reeds. We thought we might have just seen a fish, didn't we, over there? We thought we might have just seen
Yeah, not quite on the reeds, but it was probably 80% up to the other side. God, there's a lot of horseflies about, isn't there?
Yeah, they're good, isn't there? Yeah, so...
Yeah.
Might even try not really done much zig fishing, so I might give it 24 hours and might even have a swap over to them, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say, well,
I'm not sure.
as I've already said in my video, I am doing a zig on one rod, which we've gone a bit shallower. We started off at 10 foot, it's up to 12 foot now.
Might even do a short zig over where we see them fish, maybe.
Yeah.
Put like a little mini zig on or something.
But in the time I've been here, guys, I've seen one fish show. Coincidentally, it was in front of Wayne's swim this morning before he got here. All the way over there by that sort of overhanging branch. And guys, so one thing I've just realised is that I've been telling you I'm fishing to the far bank, but I haven't actually shown you the spots where I'm fishing. So right hand rod, as we know already, is on the adjustable zig, and that's just, I'm just aiming at sort of slightly to the right in the general direction of that them big trees in the background there, sort of at the 1 o'clock angle. Yeah, so further I'll zoom in as much as my camera will allow. So middle rod, we are aiming for sort of this sort sort of slightly humpy tree, centre of picture, and yeah, about a rod length off for these reeds that we're fishing, guys. So probably in the frame of this shot somewhere I'm dropping it. So yeah, so when I'm aiming my boat out, I'm just aiming for that slightly humpy roundy tree there in the distance. And then my left hand rod, as I look at the tree line, there's like a slight kind of dip in the trees. Looks a bit like almost like a W shape in the trees. So, which is again centre of shot. That little kind of gap in the trees just there I'm aiming towards. Then again, we are just going about a rod length off of these reeds here. You can't really tell by depth of perception on this screen, I'm sure, but if you was in peg 3, there's like an arm that comes off of the far side of the bank, and the other side of like the arm, like, put it this way, I don't think the 250 metres of line I've just put on the reel, on my reels, would be enough. Yeah, that is sort of the end of that arm, but yeah, it's if you're a big chucker, peg 3 would be ideal for you, because that is easily 250 yards, if not more, to the sort of deep into that arm. But yeah, but Lake Fort certainly is a stunning little lake. Well, I say little lake, it's not little at all. As I said earlier in the blog, there's only 7 pegs on this lake, all down one side of the lake. Again, which is why they've allowed bait boats on this lake, because obviously you're not interfering with people on the other side. But yeah, absolutely cracking, stunning lake. I mean, look at them. I know this only opened last year, but these lakes have obviously been here for years and years, because again, when we look at the foreground, just how mature everything is, the reeds, the trees, everything. It's yeah, obviously been here for many years already, this lake, before Linear got hold of them. It's certainly not like your typical Linear lakes, this one, that's for sure. It's got your typical swans, that's anyway. And there's Wayne swim through the trees. We'll go through in a minute and have a little social with him. Hopefully he's got all his rods sorted, but if you can just about see his bivvy there through the trees. So yeah, we'll go and join Wayne for a little social in a minute. Oh, right guys, we are in on the middle rod. So we've just sat in Wayne's swim and having a bit of a chill, chatting about random stuff like you do when you're out fishing. And the middle rod absolutely burst into life. So it's yeah, got to my swim, line was peeling off. So it's a good job I went to the shop this morning and bought that line and re-spooled these reels, because I might not have had enough line if I hadn't have done that. Oh, hello. Oh, stop now, Wayne. Yeah, typical. Oh.
He knows he's on.
Oh, look, as soon as you put the camera in here. Oh, it's the only thing. If I get this in and it gets in the net, guys, this will be the furthest I've ever played a fish from, because as we've already said, I certainly can't cast at these ranges I'm fishing, these two rods. And I've never fished a bait boat out at 120, 130 yards before. So as long as it goes in the net.
That's when you had a bit of an occurrence on earlier as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. So about half an hour, guys, we had a bit of a bleep on this rod as well. That made me run to the rod, and then nothing happened. We sort of got to my swim and nothing was happening, so it must have been an aborted take or something. But I thought, well, I didn't touch the rod because I thought, well, because we are fishing at such a range, I didn't want to mess around. I mean, because these rigs, if they're dropped, will reset themselves, and clearly it did, because it has picked up a fish. Also, if Wayne points at me pod, we'll see we've got my right hand rod out the way, guys, because it's obviously on a zig and on a tight line. Oh, I can see the fish. I did say to Wayne, can you quickly get the rod in, get it out of the way, just so it's...
Oh, what a beauty. It's a linear, isn't it? Is it linear?
Yeah, so I did say to Wayne, just can you get the line out of the way just so it doesn't become a hindrance. And because it went round to the right then, it was lucky that I did, to be fair. Or lucky that you did for me, Wayne.
That looks a pretty fish, that one.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Nice scaly one. Oh, it's got a nice high back on it.
Yeah.
It only just looks up as well. I don't want to force it because it only just looks hooked. Oh, you bastard. Oh.
I was going to come back. Don't want to force it. Oh yes, he got him. Well done, Chris.
Yes. First time fishing Tar Farm 4, Lake 4, Swim 4. It's not a blank. Looks like that Tobber session last time did me well, because it certainly gives me my... Oh, look at all that on your... All that line's just jumped off the spool. Or I've overspooled them. Right. We have a... Oh. That is absolute beauty. Look.
Yeah, that's a crack of that one, Chris.
Right, and guys, to my camera and to Wayne's camera. This is an absolute stunner. If this is the only fish I catch this session, I will not complain at all. So, £15 on the nose. So, first time on Tar Farm Lake 4. And so this is a little peaches fish, and you'll see in a second when you see its shape, it's got some shoulders on it, so it's going to be a big fish one day just by the shape of it. Did I say £15? Yeah, I did. £15 on the nose. You wait until you get a load of this, guys. Oh yes, oh yes. Look at that. Oh, I think that last video at Todd Bud done me the world of good. Give me the old confidence booster to catch fish again, and it's bled on into this video because look at that, £15 on the nose. It could be £5, I don't care. Look at the scaly pattern on that fish, guys. The scale pattern, the shape of it. Look at them shoulders. That is a fish worth catching. That is. Let's have a look. Have a look at the scale pattern on other side. Is practically identical. This really is a mirror because it's the same on both sides. Have a look at that, guys. There she go. What a gorgeous, gorgeous fish that is.
It's a stunner, isn't it?
On to Wayne's camera.
Thank you very much, sir.
That is absolute beauty. Like I said, furthest I've ever caught a fish from, because I've never fished at these ranges, as I've said, because of my casting ability. But with a bait boat, magic. Right.
I see you. Oh, it's on me.
Yeah. Oh, and a warm southwesterly blowing, Wayne. Right, Wayne's going to do a few pictures for me, and then we'll get her back. Right, here she goes, guys. Back to her home. So we've had the pretty one. Hopefully she'll tell her mum or dad. I want the bigger one now. Oh, she's ready to go. One last look at her. Oh, wrong way. That way. Get your mum and dad next. Oh, I can still see her.
He's getting greedy now.
Oh, guys, I've literally just got the other rod back out, and I mean literally about a minute ago the bait boat come back in. I just sat down in my bivvy to look through the photos that Wayne took for me of that first fish, so I could you know, just crop them a little bit and get them uploaded to my social media. Didn't have time, just had to drop my phone because my left hand rod started ticking off. This one's fishing a little bit longer. You can't really, from the angles we've already looked at of the far side, guys, you can't really tell, but the far bank kind of slopes off a bit on the left hand rod, so the middle rod is fishing about 120 yards, and this left hand rod, to the point where I showed you earlier on, is more like 130, maybe 135 yards at a guess. But I say a guess, it's an estimated guess because you've got a map, haven't you, with a scale on?
Yeah, yeah.
And we've worked out it's about 120, 130 yards to the points where I'm fishing. It's gone right this way. I'm going to be taking your lines out, Wayne. That
might be the only time my lambs make any noise this weekend.
I'll try them.
All week.
I don't think it's quite as far as your swim. It's, because I know what it's like to be on the receiving end of someone in the next swim taking your lines out, and it's not nice. So I'll try not to let it happen to you as well, Wayne.
Don't worry, mate. It's happy to see you catch a fish.
So whatever the time is, this must be about this lake's bite time to get two fish in quick succession like this. I'll say get, because this one's not in the net yet. But it looks like that little change, you know, up in the bait size, dropping a bit of pellet into the older boat as well as the boilies, looks like it's kind of done the trick, to be fair. I'll tell you what I'll do, because that's the zig. I'll just get that down a little bit, get the line down a bit just in case.
Getting close now.
I don't like to predict it, but this one does feel a little bit heavier than the previous fish. Actually, now I've seen it, it might not be.
Surely it can't be any prettier though. Surely not.
Right, I'm going to come over to that side, Wayne. I've got to land in that side as well.
Oh, no, it's a scaly one. Got a bit of a battle, don't they?
Yeah, well, when you've got deep water like this lake has got.
Yeah.
Oh,
she didn't.
It
Oh,
swam
that's
into
a
the net.
cracker as well.
Well, that was handy. It swam into the net for me. Yeah, I feel when you've got deep water like this lake is, as well as them being able to swim left, right, away from you, toward you, they can also swim up and down. So
Yeah.
you get.
Another nice one as well, isn't it? Some scales on him.
There we go, guys. 12 £, of absolute gorgeousness. And Wayne's camera. Yeah, what do you think of that, guys? Absolutely stunning little fish. Like I say, I'm not bothered about weights when they're this pretty. Like I say, obviously this side is a little bit prettier because it hasn't got a lifted scale. In fact, a lot prettier. Absolute cracking scale pattern. I don't think he wants to show you this side, Lo. How about that, guys?
That's a cracker, isn't it?
Absolute little stunner, that one.
Imagine that at £30.
Yeah, so this is now the longest, longest range fish I've ever caught, because that left hand rod is fishing at about 130 yards. Yeah, so Nuts 365 pop-ups on the old Ronnie rigs, doing a trick. Like I say, am I catching now because I added some pellet into the mix and dropped the boilie content down? Who knows? Who cares? I'm catching. And some stunners at that as well. Right, as I said, I've got some propolis with me, so I'll get some on that slightly lifted scale. Lovely jubbly. Right, a few photos and then we'll get it back. Right, fishy. I told the last one I wanted your mummy or daddy, not the little brother. So go and tell mummy or daddy where my rigs are.
You don't want to go.
No, that way. That's it. Right then, guys, quick update before I get too wet, because you can probably hear above the camera on the bivvy it's just started raining again. But yeah, it's 8:30 now. I've just had to redo my middle rod. I had some sort of occurrence. When I say some sort of occurrence, what I actually had was a screaming take. Lifted up the rod to absolutely nothing. There was literally no weight there when I lifted into it. Yet when I lifted the rod up, it was going a proper 1-toner. So the only thing I can put that down to is maybe a decent sized cray had picked up the rig and was off with it, because there was the putty was gone. And those people who watch this, who fish cray infested waters, or where cray inhabit, not saying infested, but you know, they do like to nibble at putty, and so, but yeah, there certainly wasn't the weight of a fish or anything. Not like I felt a fish and then it come off. It was just nothing whatsoever. So good side to that, it happened with enough daylight for me to get the rod redone again, because if any occurrences happen at night, whether it be fish or otherwise, I certainly can't see 120, 130 yards in the dark with a bait boat where I'm going to be, where I want to drop them. So yeah, so if anything does happen in the night, the rods would just be getting pub chucked until the morning. Also, talking of the morning, oh, plane coming into Bryce Norton. Yeah, so talking of the morning, obviously we've been sticking up with that zig, adjustable zig, so far, and obviously it's not done anything up to now. If it hasn't done nothing by tomorrow morning, that's going to come in and fish on the bottom, because obviously we've had 2 fish now fishing on the bottom, albeit on pop-ups. So we'll stick out the zig rig until tomorrow morning. If it doesn't do a fish, same as today, we'll get it in, re-spool it with more line, and get a runny rig on that one and fish it on the bottom as well. It seems to make sense when the 2 fish I've had have come via that method. Anyway, I'm gonna go now. Sunset is just dipping on the tree line horizon, so unless anything happens in the night, guys, I'll see you in the morning.
Well, at last, after all them line bites I've had on them left 2 rods this morning, waking me up, getting my shoes on, getting back into bed, finally turned into a 1-toner. And that is my left hand rod, just off the base of that near side margin shelf, and I've been rewarded with a lovely £20 3 mirror. And I believe it's going to behave itself as well. There you go. How about that? Pressure's off.
Cracking looking fish.
It has. It's got really, like you say, it's got a bit of a ghosty,
yeah,
slaty grey.
Kind of, yeah, like a smoky grey colour, isn't
yeah,
it?
really
Lovely colour, that.
cracking fish. And it's happy to be on camera as well. Oh.
Ah, that side's a bit better. It's got a few scales down its flank.
Yeah. £20 3. I didn't think it looked at 20, but I was going to check my sling after. If it ain't, I will correct it in the comments. But yeah, 5 o'clock this morning, happy days. Oh.
And I lost a fish last night
Yeah,
as well.
Chris lost a fish on the night last night.
Yeah, 11 o'clock last night, left hand rod went tearing off and it fell off halfway in.
Oh, gutted. Horrible, horrible feeling.
Yeah, I'd be more gutted if I was still blanking up to that point.
Yeah.
Right guys, just a shade before 8 o'clock and we have number 3 on the bank. 3 from 4 runs. You already heard me saying when we was looking at Wayne's fish this morning that I'd lost one in the night. This was on the middle rod again. The fish I lost last night was on the left hand rod. And we have our first common of the session. Not a monster, but a lovely shaped fish again. Absolute perfect condition. And hopefully we're going to help keep it in perfect condition because I've just pro-polished the hook hold. Cracking fish.
Lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, let's have a look at the other side, even though there's not a lot of difference on the other side. Oh, let's give you another. There we go guys, how about that? Lovely scale perfect common. Lovely jubbly. Right, so it's safe to say, because we've had 4 runs, 3 landed, fishing on the bottom, that zig rig's definitely going to come in and get re-rigged to go on the old on the deck, the same as the other 2 rods. Well, on the deck, albeit with a pop-up. So yeah, maximise the chances, because obviously they're coming off the bottom and not mid-water, so yeah, we'll do that today. Right, let's get a few photos and get it back. Right, Mr. Common, I said to your mates I wanted your mummy and daddy, not your brother and sister. So go and tell your mummy and daddy where the rig is. Right guys, so that's that 3rd rod, the one that was on the zig, stripped of line, so going to re-spool that in a minute. I've just been to see Wayne, he's just put 2 rods long as well now this morning on the reed line that's in front of him, seeing sort of that's where all my fish have been coming from, so Wayne's kind of got on board with that tactic now this morning. And then he's left 1 rod on the spot where he actually did catch his fish from. Right guys, so just winding in this 3rd rod. This is the rod that I just pub chucked last night after losing that fish. The other 2 rods are now rigged up and ready to go. We've re-spooled that 3rd rod with that line I bought yesterday. So yeah, we'll put a fresh hook bait on that, check the hook point. Yep, still lovely jubbly. So that's it, ready to get this 3rd and final sort of day underway. It's, must be about 9 o'clock now, so it's going to be probably about this time tomorrow that the slow pack up will start, because I have to be off out of this swim at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning to make way for the next angler who's in at 12 o'clock. Right guys, so this was the rod I re-spooled. So it's got 250 metres of nice new line on it. And we're just sticking with the same rig that's been working up to now, which is the Ronnie rig, lead clip system, rigmarole rig tubing, 15mm nuts 365 pop up, on a size 4 hook. So obviously, because this one was just fishing open water up to now on the zig rig, we're going to find a new spot to fish on the far bank. But I think I've picked out a spot. The edge of that tall tree in the background, or tall trees, I'm going to use the left hand side of it where it comes down to the height of the lower trees as me marker, I think. There's a right on the water line, there's a few of the little trees that overhang the water, so we'll try and get nice and close to that, I think is the plan. Alright, and we're going to try adding another element to the freebies in the boat today. I brought with me a good old bag of the golden grains, and we'll add a few of these to each boatload today. Not a lot, just a handful, just maybe sort of add another little visual element into the mix. You've been putting corn in your mix, haven't you, Wayne?
Yeah.
So you've had one using corn, so it certainly won't. Oh, I'll tell you what we'll do, when we're nearly there, we'll try and zoom into where the boat's going to sort of hit its final destination. Right, we're nearly there, guys. Oh, going a bit wibbly wobbly. Right, how's that looking, Wayne, on the camera?
Yeah, spot in the middle.
Right, a little bit further, get near that tree canopy. Is that looking like we're near the reel line on the camera, Wayne?
Yeah, looks like you're not far off.
Alright. Bombs away. New spot for the right hand rod today then, guys. Right guys, so we're lunchtime now, and I've only just got all 3 rods fishing at the same time. So we got 2 rods out when I was redoing them, and then I was just about to do the 3rd rod, and the battery decided to die on the handset, so I had to recharge the handset for an hour or so, and then I went to get the rod back out, and my bait boat started having a few issues. It's like a double hopper, and I got the rod out there, and yeah, brought the boat back, and all my rig and everything was still in the boat, and for some unknown reason only one side of the hopper's working now, so yeah, so I've sent the boat company a message saying it needs fixing, but luckily there's a divider you can put in the middle, so you can use one side or the other. So I put the handset back on charge for another half hour just to make sure it wasn't that again. Anyway, when it was fully charged, I was getting the rod ready to go back out, and the middle rod went tearing off. And the reason why there's no fish to show you, because I got it about halfway in and it fell off. So yeah, so then at that point, then I had 2 rods to get back out with only using one side of the bait boat. Yeah, and I've only just got that all set, so yeah, so it's Taken a few hours, but we've finally got all 3 rods fishing at the same time today. Right then guys, after a loss I had earlier on, I've now finally hit my target amount of fish I wanted. Because we're on lake 4, I said to myself, if I can get 4 fish, 4 from 4, then I'd be happy with that. And this is the 4 fish. Again, looks like I'm on babysitting duty because it's not going to break any records, but it might win beauty records because it's an absolute stunning little fish. How about that? Oh, cracking little fish. Again, it's got the starting sort of pronunciation hump of the shoulders starting to evolve there. So yeah, again, when it's about twice this size, I think this is going to be an absolute cracking fish for someone to catch one day. Absolute little stunner that. So, that was on the middle rod. Again, nothing's changed rig wise. The 15mm Nut 365 pop-ups on the Ronnie rig. The only change we made today was putting the old sweet corn in the mix. But yeah, fish number 4, lovely dovely. And this one came along just at the right time, because we've just had a heavy rainstorm for about an hour, and there's a bit of rain in the air, but it's just easing off now, so it's it come at the right time. So right guys, we have just had an almighty rain shower pass over, and it was blowing into my bivvy, so I had my door shut. And Wayne sent me a text saying, I think you're going to get a bite in the next 10 minutes because there's fish boshing over your spot. I replied, is there? I can't see because my bivvy door shut because of the weather. Anyway, the rain passed by. 5 minutes later, you was just walking into my swim, and as you walked into my swim, my middle rod went ripping off, didn't it? Yeah. And we have got another small, but another absolutely gorgeous looking little fish. How's about that? 11.5 pound this one, guys. That one for Wayne's camera.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, oh, was that amazing, wasn't it? You said, you're going to get a bite in the next 10 minutes, and it happened in about 5.
Yeah, 3 times you bossed over the spot in.
Yeah. So if you could text me again and say I think you're going to win the lottery at the weekend.
Yeah. I think I need to start messaging myself.
But yeah, number 5 guys, 11.5 pound. Again, nothing's changed rig wise. But cracking looking fish in this lake, that's for sure. Surely it's a matter of time before one of the big uns slips up.
Yeah. Let's hope so.
Right, a few pictures and then we'll get her back. Right guys, after wading through all those smaller fish, we have finally got a decent sized fish, and I think the one we've been waiting for. So we think we made the change from that zig rod back onto the bottom, and up to now that rod had done nothing all day until now, and boy, what a fish it is. When we got it in a nooking map, it had another rig in its mouth and it was all tangled up, and he has, unfortunately, because of the rig that was in his mouth, he has got a bit of a torn lip now, which is a crying shame because this is an absolute stunning fish. But we have propolished the wound up the best we could. My hook hold was right inside its mouth, but There we go, there's my rig, and there's what we just rescued out of its mouth. So unfortunately, yeah, so I think this fish wanted to be caught purely to get himself saved from any more damage, but I think we've managed to stem the flow of any bleeding it had with the propolis.
It definitely looks better.
Absolute must in anyone's equipment, that fishing gear. If you haven't got propolis, get some, it's a must. Anyway, right, let's have a look at this beauty. Oh yes, ignoring the bit of mouth damage from that other rig, what an absolute stunner that is. Like I say, the one rod that I changed onto the bottom from that zig rod, and finally it's produced the goods. £25 on the nose. This is the fish we was waiting for. This was worth waiting for all them smaller fish, pretty as they were. This is the one we wanted.
Stunning.
Oh yes. Right, well, spin around, because the mouth damage is just on that side, and she's a lot cleaner on this side. Oh god, that's aching me back. This is an absolute peach of a fish. That is going to look good in anyone's photo album. Like I say, just hopefully it won't be long before that little bit of mouth damage heals. Like I say, we've done our best to make her fit and well again with the propolis. Look at that tail, wow. Look at the scale pattern, look at the shape, look at the size, look at my smile. What a fish.
Fishing, isn't it? That's why we do
Yeah,
it.
so yeah, that was definitely worth a move on that zig rod that was inactive. Got it on the bottom, and it's produced the goods. Oh yes.
Well done, Chris.
Cheers mate. Right then, all those other little fish finally listened to my instructions and went and told their mummy or daddy to find my rig, and now it can return to the deep. There she goes, happy as Larry, happy now she's been freed of that other rig. Going off to sulk. Well, she shouldn't be sulking now, should she? She should be happy now, because she's now rig free. Oh, it's coming back towards us. Oh. Coming back to say thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for helping me. Right guys, along comes number 7 rather quickly. I'd literally just got the rod back out after that 25 pounder. The battery on the bait boat's died now, so what I done basically is just cast it out. I put a distance lead on, wanged it as far as I could, and I think I'm 3-4 rod lengths from the far bank. Probably the furthest I've ever cast. I'd give it the proper big one. Anyway, I'd literally just put the rod down, sat down to look through the photos of that last fish, didn't get a chance, because along comes number 7, middle rod again, the one that I say has been the hot spot of this session. 15 pound on the nose. Look at that, proud as punch, got his dorsal up.
Beautiful.
He absolutely gave me a good scrap, this one. Yeah. As soon as he picked the rig up, he ran for that arm up the other side of the lake. That's in front of peg 3. There we go. I'm probably on the last dregs of daylight as well. Just in time. How about that? So lucky number 7. And who says you can't catch fish when you pre-book a swim before you get here?
Good morning. It is 3:30 AM and I was awakened by absolute one toner which took me all over the lake under my rods. Lucky didn't wipe them out, in the reeds, and I'm absolutely knackered after that.
And me.
Yeah. I was like, do I wake Chris up or not? And it's 3:30, and even like 20 yards before I got to the bivvy I knew he was in a deep sleep.
How did you know that?
Well, the ripples that kept going on the water every now and again, every time you breathed in. But yeah, so I've been rewarded with this lovely scaly mirror, which was caught on my left hand rod on that bait spot again, and that was again on that Hindus 365 pop up. I've got it the sling. I haven't zeroed the sling, so I've got to take the sling off after the fish. But with the sling, it said 21.7, so it's obviously not as big as that. So I will put the actual weight up when I find it, and absolutely stunning. Look at that.
When they stocked this lake, they certainly stocked it with a good
They did, didn't they?
with a good breed of scaly fish, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely stunning. Yeah. Yeah, made up with that. I was happy with the one fish. Having this one, it would be nice if I'd have got it during the day, I must admit, but I'll take a fish like this any time of the night.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. Whatever its weight is, so I'll let you know in a minute. Right, get some pictures, and then me and Chris can get back to bed.
Not together.
Separately. Whew.
Yeah, it's not that kind of video.
No. Yeah, this video is not made for kids.
Right guys, another fish. Final morning, have to pack up in a few hours. And I was well in the land of Nod after Wayne had his fish early hours of this morning. So this one woke me up. It's just gone 8 o'clock. This fish is already wide awake. I haven't weighed this one, guys, because it is pack up day, so already got stuff away. So another nice little common, second common of the trip. Like I say, I haven't weighed this one. And if anything, he's probably the smallest fish of the trip. But as to the talia fish, give me a nice little fight. He locked up in some weed at one point, and I had to put the rod back down on the alarm and loosen off the line, and a couple of minutes later he swam himself out, and yeah, finally made it to my landing net. So yeah, number 8, like I said, not weighed, not worried about the weight on this small one. Just nice to have another fish to the tally. Right, gonna get one quick pick, get her back, and then it's start the pack up time. Oh, right guys, so that fish has just gone back. I'm not going to worry about putting that rod back out. Like I say, we literally have to be off in 2.5 hours time. Lovely morning, look at this clear blue sky. You say we're forecast for heavy rain and thunderstorms. Oh, there's a big perch down there, look.
Where are you going to?
Wow, a massive perch just going past in the margins.
They said on the website they got perched at £3.5, didn't they?
Wow. Oh. But anyway, yeah, so we got a thunderstorm and heavy rain forecast for about the actual time we're meant to leave. So yeah, probably going to start the pack up a little bit early, try and beat the weather, guys. yeah, I'll leave the rods out fishing for as long as possible, so it's not the end of the blog yet, but we are very near it. Hi guys, so I'd say this has been quite a successful session. 10 runs, 8 landed, and definitely one of the things that has helped me catch more fish this session is my new table. What do you think of that, guys? New camo little carpy table, even logoed here with my name on it. My mate Matt made it for me. I don't know if he's gonna be making them anymore, but he made one for himself, and I said, oh, that's nice, can you make me one? So he did. So I don't know if he's gonna make them as a running thing, guys, but I'll if anyone does want one, and if he gets enough requests for them, he might start doing them. So if you throw me a message on one of my social medias, I'll put you in touch with the guy who made this table. But yeah, cracky little carpy table Matt made for me, and yeah, if he does make them, I'll throw me a message and I'll put you in touch with him. Right, and guys, that is almost it for the fishing. As you can see, I've still got 2 rods out, but practically everything else is away. Yeah, it's been a good session, this one. I mean, first time on Lake 4 at Tar Farm here at Linear, and my goal to begin with was just one fish, just so it wasn't a blank. Well, 10 runs and 8 fish later.
I quite being greedy.
Yeah, it's I mean, I don't think it's the easiest water in the land. It's 12 acres and 450 fish. So what's that? That's what, less than 50 fish an acre? But 40 fish an acre. So it's by no means a runs water. So yeah, I think, you know, pat myself on the back. I think I've done quite well, to be fair.
Oh, good.
Oh, cheers, Wayne.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, and of course you had a couple of lovely fish as well.
Myself,
yeah, well done.
Thank you very much.
So yeah, it's been another fish filled video, this one, guys. Probably longer than I was expecting it to be fair. In my last video at Tobber Manor on Wadmill, I'd done that competition to win that signed Frank Warwick Pro Logic cap. I haven't drawn a winner yet. I'll do a random draw while I'm editing this video. I'll say random draw because I already know up to this point there's about 3 or 4 people that's guessed the right answer. But by the time you see this, there will be a winner, and I'll put your name up here somewhere. But yeah, and then I'll get in contact with you to let you know that you've won that cap. The winning weight was 17 pounds 2 ounces for those of you who guessed wrong. Anyway, like I say, that's practically it.
Yeah, I'm all packed.
Yeah, oh yeah, Wayne is packed up. We're due some more bad weather in what, maybe in an hour or maybe 2 hours, so.
And the swims are being taken in there.
Yeah, I mean, my fishing doesn't due to end for an hour yet, but it's been a good session. Try and beat the weather and sort of get packed up while it's dry. An all important kit, to be fair, that wants to be dry is away dry. Anyway, that's enough waffle. No idea where or when I'm going to be fishing again, guys, but till then, tight lines, wet nets, enjoy fishing.
Bye bye.